Breaking news: the Haro family secrets have just been exposed. Investigators have seized shocking new items, evidence they believe could finally reveal what really happened to baby Emmanuel. For months, this case has haunted the nation. A baby vanished without a trace, a mother's desperate cries, a father's chilling silence, and a family shrouded in mystery. Rumors have spread like wildfire, theories have divided communities, but tonight we take you inside the evidence. Evidence prosecutors say could change everything we thought we knew about the Haro case. Stay with us as we uncover what these seized items mean, how they connect to baby Emmanuel's tragic fate, and why investigators are calling this a turning point in the case. And before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more gripping true crime investigations, because what you're about to hear may leave you speechless. The disappearance of baby Emmanuel didn't just shake Yucaipa, it shattered it. This was supposed to be an ordinary, quiet town where neighbors waved to each other, families trusted each other, and crime was something you read about happening elsewhere. But all of that changed when the Haro family's youngest child, baby Emmanuel, was suddenly gone. Emmanuel was described as a cheerful baby, the light of the family. But in one horrifying instant, that light went dark. The official story, according to the family, was simple. One morning, Emmanuel was just gone. No forced entry, no signs of a struggle, no witnesses. Just a crib left empty, and parents whose stories didn't align. The Haro family, once ordinary, almost invisible, was now under the brightest spotlight of all. Emmanuel's mother appeared before cameras in tears, begging for answers, pleading for her baby's return. Her face became the image of a grieving parent. But it was the father, Jake Haro, who drew the most suspicion. Where the mother cried, Jake stayed quiet. Where she begged for help, he gave short, vague statements. His silence didn't come across as strength. It came across as coldness. Investigators quickly noticed contradictions. The timeline kept changing. What time Emmanuel was last seen, who was with him that night. Even small details, like whether the back door was locked, shifted with each retelling. And while the parents pointed outward, suggesting an abduction, police quietly began to look inward. Rumors swept across Yucaipa. Some neighbors claimed they heard late-night arguments in the Haro home. Others said they noticed the father acting strangely in the days before Emmanuel disappeared. Theories multiplied. Was this a kidnapping gone wrong? Was it a family cover-up? Or was there something far more sinister at play? The community responded the only way they knew how. With action. Candlelight vigils lit up the nights. Flyers with Emmanuel's face appeared on every telephone pole and storefront window. Strangers who had never even met the Haros organized search parties, combing through fields, rivers, and abandoned lots. And online, the story spread like wildfire. Emmanuel's name and face trended across platforms, turning a small-town tragedy into a national conversation. But despite the outpouring of support, there was no Emmanuel. No trace of the baby, no evidence that he had even left the house. The case grew colder and the community grew angrier. To many, it felt like the truth was hiding in plain sight inside the Haro family home. By the time investigators announced they had seized items from the Haro's property, suspicion had already reached a breaking point. People weren't just asking what happened anymore. They were demanding, what are the Haros hiding? Just days ago, authorities executed a search warrant at the Haro residence. What they uncovered stunned even the most seasoned investigators. Hidden in plain sight, tucked away in closets, drawers, and locked containers, were items that prosecutors now say could tell the tragic story of baby Emmanuel's final moments. This was not a routine search. Detectives had spent weeks building their case, tracking inconsistencies in the parents' statements, analyzing phone records, and quietly interviewing those closest to the family. When enough suspicion was gathered, the warrant was signed, and the raid began. Officers moved quickly, combing through every corner of the Haro home, determined not to miss a single detail. What they found left the community shaken. Among the seized possessions were handwritten journals, pages filled with words that investigators are still analyzing. Some entries hinted at deep family conflicts. Others, chillingly, suggested a level of frustration and despair surrounding Emmanuel himself. Were these the private thoughts of a troubled parent, or the beginnings of a confession written in secret? Then came the clothing, articles stained, damaged, and hidden away in plastic bags. Clothing investigators now describe as suspicious items that are undergoing forensic testing to determine whether they hold traces of blood, DNA, or other evidence of foul play. But perhaps the most haunting discovery was described only in whispers, what one investigator chillingly called the missing pieces of a dark puzzle. Authorities have not yet disclosed exactly what those pieces are, but their tone left little doubt. These were not ordinary household belongings. They were fragments of truth, pointing toward a story the Haros never wanted told. The secrecy surrounding these items has only fueled speculation. Some believe investigators have found physical evidence tying Emmanuel's disappearance directly to the family home. Others think the journals may reveal hidden motives, anger, resentment, or even a plan. What's clear is this: these seized items are not meaningless. To prosecutors, they represent a breakthrough. To the community, they represent both hope and horror. Hope that answers are finally within reach. Horror that those answers may confirm their worst fears, that baby Emmanuel never left that house alive. And while authorities remain tight-lipped, the fact that this evidence was seized and catalogued means only one thing: the Haro case has officially entered a new, darker chapter. The walls of secrecy are beginning to crack, and behind them lies the truth of a tragedy too painful to imagine. One former FBI profiler told reporters, "When families hide evidence, it almost always points to a cover-up." The question now is, cover-up of what? Criminal psychologists who have studied similar cases warn that conflicting statements from parents are rarely accidental. As one expert explained, when timelines keep changing, when details shift, it often suggests deception. The truth is harder to remember when it's being fabricated. Legal analysts are now weighing in as well. Some believe the seized journals could serve as crucial evidence, especially if they contain admissions of guilt, signs of mental instability, or proof of motive. One attorney commented, "A single entry, even a line scribbled in anger, could be enough to sway a jury." Jurors don't forget words written in a parent's own hand. Criminologists point out that the suspicious clothing may carry the most weight in court. Forensic testing could reveal blood traces invisible to the eye, or DNA that links directly back to Emmanuel. Physical evidence speaks louder than speculation. Another expert said, if these items connect Emmanuel to violence inside that home, the Haros could face charges far beyond neglect or concealment. Taken together, these insights paint a chilling picture. Investigators may finally have the leverage they need. For months the case seemed stalled, built only on suspicion and rumor. Now, with seized evidence under lock and key, experts believe prosecutors are closer than ever to proving what really happened behind the closed doors of the Haro home. But with every revelation comes more unanswered questions. What exactly do these seized items prove? Are they fragments of truth, or just pieces of a larger mystery still out of reach? For all the evidence investigators claim to have uncovered, one fact remains unchanged. Baby Emmanuel's remains have not been confirmed. No body has been found, no final answers have been given. And without that, the agony of uncertainty continues to haunt both the community and those who have followed this case from the very beginning. Who in the Haro family knew the truth? Was this the act of one parent in secret, or a shared silence that bound the entire family together in a chilling pact? Why would items so significant be hidden away, unless there was something to hide? Each discovery raises more doubts than it settles. Did investigators seize enough to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt, or will these items fall short, leaving Emmanuel's story frozen in limbo? And perhaps the most chilling question of all, will the world ever truly know what happened to baby Emmanuel Haro? Or will this case remain one more tragedy buried under secrets, silence, and suspicion? This is not just another crime story. This is not just headlines, not just breaking news. This is about a child, an innocent baby who never had a chance to grow, to laugh, to live the life he deserved. Baby Emmanuel's story is not just a tragedy, it is a cry for justice. The Haro family's secrets are unraveling, piece by piece. Each seized item, each contradiction, each chilling revelation brings us closer to the truth. But as the world watches, one thing remains painfully clear. Until we know what really happened, Emmanuel's story is unfinished. And that is where you come in. Cases like this do not stay alive without people demanding answers. It is your voice, your comments, your shares, your insistence that keeps pressure on the system. It is people like you refusing to look away that makes the difference between a case forgotten and a case solved. So I ask you directly, what do you believe happened to baby Emmanuel Haro? Was this a tragic accident, a deliberate cover-up, or something even darker hiding behind closed doors? Leave your thoughts below. We want to hear from you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for the latest updates. Click the like button to push this story into more feeds, and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when the next breakthrough drops. Because Emmanuel deserves more than silence. He deserves answers. He deserves justice. And until those answers come, until this case is finally resolved, one haunting question remains. One question that echoes in every headline, every courtroom, every sleepless night in Ukaipa. Where is baby Emmanuel Haro?